Right, that Creed video was quite intense, wasn't it? It's always a pleasure deep diving into lore that I had forgotten about largely. I love Cadia, it's like a warm hug. So with that said, in the Creed video I said I'll be deep diving into the Cadian Castellan and Command squads. Now, the smart money might be on me focusing on Ursula Creed, but she's her own character and I'll get to her videos when I get to them. So let's take a look at the Castellan first, break it down, rinse and repeat for the Command squad, right? So the Cadian Castellan is a single character model. He has a 6-inch movement, toughness 3, 5 up save and a 5 up invuln, 4 wounds, 7 up leadership and OC 1. For war gear options, we have a few good choices. He can take a variety of ranged and melee weapons. So his melee profiles are Chainsword, 5 attacks, 3 up weapon skill, strength 3, AP 0, 1 damage. Power Fist, 3 attacks, 3 up weapon skill, strength 6, AP -2, 2 damage. Power Sword / power weapon. It always says power weapon, but we know it just means power sword, unless they add in like power axes or some, 4 attacks, 3 up weapon skill, strength 4, AP -2, 1 damage, and close combat weapon, which is only when taking a bolt gun as the range weapon. You get 3 attacks, 3 up weapon skill, strength 3, AP 0 and 1 damage. For the range weapons, you get the las pistol, which is 12-inch range, 1 attack, ballistic skill 3, strength 3, and AP 0, 1 damage with the pistol keyword. Bolt pistol, 12-inch range, 1 attack, 3 up ballistic skill, strength 4, AP 0, 1 damage. Plasma pistol, 12-inch range, 1 attack, 3 ballistic skill, strength 7, 8 of supercharging, AP -2, -3 of supercharging, 1 damage, 2 damage of supercharging. Hazardous on supercharging profile. For supercharging, roll a d6. On a 1, you get 3 mortal wounds. That's about as much as I understand it. I don't tend to supercharge, but I've been told that's quite a handy thing to have. And finally, the bolt gun with a 24-inch range, 1 attack, 3 up ballistic skill, strength 4, AP 0, 1 damage, rapid fire 1. Rapid fire is essentially 1 extra attack when within half of the weapon's range. So for the bolt gun, that's within 12 inches range, which luckily, if you're going to be leading them with like Cadian Shock Troops, regular ones, they have rapid fire on their las guns, which are 12-inch rapid fire as well, which is some synergy. Right, so as part of Astra Militarum's core army rule, voice of command, the Cadian Castellan can issue 2 orders to regiment units. Right, quick, a regiment unit is any Astra Militarum unit profile with the regiment keyword. This largely concerns infantry models. There are a few outliers, but typically if it has legs, this perplexingly includes Sentinel Walkers, if I'm reading the data sheets right, a Castellan can order it. One exception for the Chimera, which has the mobile command vehicle ability, the Castellan can issue an order to it when the Castellan is embarked within the transport. The Castellan can issue an order to it when the Castellan is embarked within the transport. This will be handy for later. Now, given he can only lead 2 units, he can be attached to the regular Cadian Shock Troops, and he can be attached to Kazakin. The units he can lead are not important right this minute. They're not unimportant, but we're just looking at the the Castellan in a singularity, just in an isolated environment. So, he has 2 abilities. He has Senior Officer. While this model is leading a unit, range weapons by models in this unit have sustained hits 1. We covered this in the Cypher video. And we also have Get Back in the Fight. While this model is leading a unit, that unit is eligible to fall back and shoot, which, as I understand it, is quite a powerful one. So both of these abilities are very strong. And to be perfectly honest with you, with the 2 orders and those abilities, this unit is almost an auto-include for any guard army if you're running anything remotely Cadian. Even if you're running a vehicle/tank heavy army, the sheer utility of having a Castellan on the field, even if he's in the back line with artillery and indirect fire units, or he's foot slogging it with Cadian Shock Troops, or in a Chimera with some Kazakin, he's just a very strong and very useful force multiplier. He's not the strongest combatant all around, but that's not why we include him in our lists. We include him for the sheer breadth of utility he provides within the scope of an Imperial Guard army. As far as loadout goes, there's a few obvious options, your Plasma Pistol and Power Fist being the standout choice, but you're free to take whatever war gear you like, since it is free in 10th edition currently. I'm inclined to take Mordian Glory's advice on the Castellan. He's much more knowledgeable a 40k player than myself. I'll link his Castellan video down in the description. If you go there, tell him I say hi, be polite please. Moving swiftly onwards, the Cadian Command Squad, which I've bundled in with the Castellan purely for the regimental standard bearer being essentially Colour Sergeant Kell, is a different beast altogether. As a slight little history moment, welcome to history with Jackal and the Uplifting Primer. Back in the day of 7th edition, you could, with your Cadian Command Squad, replace the commander unit with Creed and the regimental standard bearer with Colour Sergeant Kell. Which, you know, that was a nice, you know, that was back in the day when, like, playing 40k was more involved, it wasn't, like, bulky and it wasn't streamlined. It was its own little, it was a war game, more of a war game, you know what I mean? So, let's break down the stat line for the Canadian Command Squad. Yes, the Cadians are Canadians. No, let's break down the stat line for the Cadian Command Squad. In a Cadian Command Squad, we have a Cadian Commander with a 6-inch move, toughness 3, 5-up save, 3 wounds, 7-up leadership, and OC1. 2 if Reggie is present. Who is Reggie? We're going to get to that. We get 4 veteran guardsmen, all with 6-inch move, toughness 3, 5-up save, 1 wound, 7-up leadership, OC1 if Reggie is present. Second verse, same as the first. Now, much like the Castellan, the Cadian Commander can take a chainsword, power fist, or power weapon. No bolt gun and close combat weapon as a melee choice. As a range choice, he can take the bolt pistol, las pistol, or plasma pistol. The Cadian Veteran Guardsman comes with 2 choices mandatory. We have the Cadian Veteran with Master Vox. This gives the squad one of its core abilities, which allows an officer in the bearer's unit to issue an order to an eligible unit up to 24 inches away, which is very handy. And a Cadian Veteran with Medipack. Now, the Medipack allows you to return D3 destroyed platoon models to the unit if your unit is below starting strength. Now, if it's attached to like a regular squad of Cadian Shock Troops, that's going to be very handy. That's a steady trickle of pseudo reinforcements every command phase, especially if you're in the thick of it, if you've got a big gun line going. So there are 2 more veteran guardsmen left. One with a chainsword, and he can take a bevy of special weapons. Most of these are with close combat weapons. So flamer and close combat weapon, grenade launcher, melter gun, plasma gun. All of those 4 are with close combat weapons. You can also take a power fist or a power weapon. He can also take a bolt pistol, las pistol, or plasma pistol. So you're getting the idea of what these veterans are all about. The final guardsman in this squad has the regimental standard, and because regimental standard is such a long word, and I'm quite a simple man, I'm just going to call him Reggie, right? So you can switch Reggie out for a special weapon, like mentioned above, flamer, grenade launcher, melter, or plasma. But his default regimental standard and lasgun is typically the shout for when you want to use the Cadian command, well, for what you want to use the command squad for. Reggie gives the following ability: the regimental standard. Add 1 to the objective control characteristics of the models in the bearer's unit. So now the command squad has OC2 natively, and that I remember hearing that battle shock tests aren't really that important in 10th edition, but it's still handy because that defaults you to 1 OC even when battle shocked. Even when battle shocked. The squad as a whole has a 4th ability to round out this squad's utility on that front. You have Cadia Stance. While this unit contains an officer, each time a ranged attack targets this unit, if it's within range of an objective marker you control, models in this unit have benefit of cover against that attack. Largely, the Cadian Command Squad is going to be attached to the only unit it can lead, Cadian Shock Troops. Shocker, I know. But hopefully you can see just how useful a Command Squad can be. Now, one of the common layouts for a Guard army is what's called a Command Blob. The Command Squad itself can issue 1 order with Voice of Command. But when attached to a Cadian Shock Troops squad, you can also take a Castellan, which will form your Command Blob for 10 Cadian Shock Troops or a command brick, a doubled up 20-man Cadian Shock Troops squad. There's a lot of synergy, and if the Cadian Castellan is Creed, the command squad itself is Colour Sergeant Kell. You have a 24-inch order range for 3 orders with Master Vox. The Medipack gives you D3 destroyed platoon, infantry only within the squad, excluding characters. Benefit of cover of objectives, sticky objectives from the Cadian Shock Troops. We're going to get into those in a future video. Fall back and shoot on the Castellan. Sustained hits 1 on all ranged weapons in the unit the Castellan is leading. So that would be sustained hits 1 on everything both the Castellan, Command and Shock Troops have that can shoot at range. If you want more information in the interim, please check out Mordian Glory's video. He's a tournament level player. He has a whole host of information that goes beyond the scope of this video. But largely speaking, your command blob, if you can afford to take one, make it the 20-man command blob, right? 120 odd points for 20 Cadians in a single squad. You want to take all the trappings. Again, we're going to get into the Cadian command, we're doing the Cadian command squad. No, we're going to get into the Cadian Shock Troops in a future video, but just largely, you want the command brick. You want the command brick. Depending on if you're running Hammer of the Emperor and you're just running nothing but tanks and armor, you want to get a command blob of 10 or command brick of 20 in at least. That's all from me today. Please leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video or down in the comments. Peace.